Wayward Magic, Part 1, Raven, Chapter 1, The Farm. Black is my signature color. Black boots, black tunic, black leather pants, the aforementioned black hooded cloak that's as dark as shadows, along with my long black braid that's offset by my pale skin. I was even named Raven, so, black has always been sort of my thing. But if my signature color is black, then Tamara Forthright's color would be brown. I've been watching the girl from a distance for a few days now, and she's always wearing one of two work dresses, both brown. They're a muddy, dull shade of brown, too. There are moments where I can't tell how much of it is cloth and how much is dirt. And her tunic is the exact same shade of brown, as are her shoes. Her skin is a softer brown, and her hair a dark, curly brown. Don't get me wrong, the kid is beautiful in a sweet, simple way. But let's be real, that's a hell of a lot of brown. The kid could do with some color in her life. It's been 5 weeks since I infiltrated the Not-A-Castle castle. The list that I stole had a series of names and locations. Girls that the Emperor's men are tracking as potential magic users, along with their locations. The third name on the list is Tamara Forthright. Not the first girl I've searched for, but the first one I've managed to find alive and in person. It took a little searching, but here she is, 14 years old, and working on her parents' farm. And from what I've overheard so far, she's not happy about it. In fact, she's in the middle of an argument with her father as I approach the farm. "And if I refuse," she calls out over her shoulder to an older man stomping behind her as they both march across the farmyard. Tamara is carrying a large bag of something. I don't know. Do I look like a farmer? "You cannot refuse," her father calls out just as loudly. Tamara sets the heavy bag down with a thud. "I can refuse, and I will. You are my father, but you do not own me." Oh, this kid is feisty. I like her. She begins pulling handfuls of feed out of the bag and scattering it around to the chickens skittering around the area. So that answers the question of what's in the bag. Don't tell me you weren't curious. Her father sighs. "Yes, well, what I meant to say is that you should not refuse. He is a good match for you, and he is a good match for you and Mother," Tamara counters. "What I want, what I need, you have not even considered." I already know what all this is about. The Forthright farm is on the edge of a small fishing village called Culver, maybe 100 people or so. Not much to do there but work and gossip, so if you buy a few people a drink at the local tavern and you ask a few questions, you can find out all kinds of things, like the fact that Tamara Forthright has been promised in marriage to the son of the owner of the inn in Culver. Her parents arranged the marriage because the dowry money from the innkeeper would help keep the farm afloat. Tamara, being the young, independent woman she is, would prefer to make her own decisions, thank you very much. Look, I'm not naive. I know that arranged marriages are a thing in some cultures, even back where I'm from. But I have to agree with the kid on this one. I totally understand the concept of wanting to make your own decisions about your life, to forge your own path. I step out of my hiding spot in the woods and begin to walk over to their hen yard. To these two, who were paying exactly zero attention to anything but their conversation and their chickens, it probably looks like I appeared out of nowhere. They eye me warily, and rightfully so, can't be too careful around strangers. Once I'm close enough to be heard, I call out, "Excuse me, are you Tamara Forthright?" Local custom dictates that I'm supposed to address the father first, and not the daughter, but I'll be damned if I'm going to talk about this girl as if she's not there. Sure enough, before Tamara can even utter a word, her father steps in front of her and answers for her. "Who are you? What is your purpose here?" "My name is Raven, and my purpose is with your daughter." I turn to the girl. "If you are indeed Tamara Forthright." She pushes past her father. "I am. What do you want?" I raise my hands to show that they're empty. Strangers can be intimidating, even if they're 5-foot-tall female ones, especially when they're dressed in black cloaks. "Just to talk," I say, "and to protect you, if possible." "Protect her from what?" her father asks. "She is a farm girl. Who in the world could possibly be interested in her?" Tamara scowls at her father's comment, but he doesn't see. I bet there's a lot he doesn't see. "Let's speak inside," I suggest. "We might want to sit down for this one." I can tell he's about to argue when Tamara's mother pokes her head out from around the farmhouse behind them. "Arwen, where are your manners? Invite the lady inside." A short time later, we're sitting at a small table in their kitchen. Me, Tamara, her father Arwen, and mother Lyra. We're drinking small porcelain cups of something. It's no drink I recognize, but it's warm, dark, and slightly bitter, and not half bad. "So," the mother says after another sip, "you are here about our daughter." I nod. This part I had prepared for ahead of time. As I told your husband, my name is Raven. I am a knight of Krell. Your daughter... A knight of what? The father interrupts. It is a... You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's just call it a religious organization. The mother tilts her head slightly. You do not look like a knight. The father leans back, frowning. What sort of religious organization needs knights? Tamara narrows her eyes. Do you even have a sword? Okay, maybe I should have prepared more thoroughly. Yes, I have a sword. I didn't bring it with me. I don't mention that it's also a stolen sword. And I'm not that kind of knight. I'm more a protector. And our daughter needs protecting? Lyra asks. Boy, how to answer that one. I believe so, but I can't protect her here. I'd like Tamara to come with me. If she... Out of the question, the father Awen says quickly. I sigh. You haven't even heard. He waves a hand dismissively. With the harvest coming up, she will be much too busy, and she is to marry in the spring. How would it look if... Tamara scowls. I do not care how it looks. Her father tisks. Dear, your father is worried about his dowry, not his daughter. Tamara finishes. The father isn't having it. Tamara, you will not talk to me that way. I try my best to calm things down. If I may, Tamara stops, blinks, looks right at me. Wait a moment. Tamara, after all we have done for you, her father continues. Wait, Tamara repeats. Lyra keeps her voice quiet and level. Tamara, your father has worked very hard to... Wait, please. My daughter should be grateful, but instead, wait! And we do not even know this woman, and you... Wait! Tamara screams the word, jumping to her feet, pounding the table with her fists. We all fall into silence, stunned not only by the force of her voice, but by something else. Something I felt, but I didn't see. The porcelain cups are still rattling softly on the table as she turns and looks straight at me. Who are they? I open my mouth, unsure how to answer. Who are what? They know about me, Tamara said simply. So, who are they? Holy shit. I have to think for a second. Did I say that out loud? I'm almost certain I didn't. Her father, now pale and visibly nervous, stands. This is quite enough. I will ask you to leave right this second. Without taking her eyes off me, Tamara points a finger right at her father. You will sit down, father, right now. It's obvious he isn't used to her speaking to him that way, and he looks ready to howl with fury, but instead he swallows his tongue and wisely sits down. Who are they? Tamara asks again. The people who know about me. My eyes dart from one parent to the next, then settle on the daughter. I don't know, I admit. I'm not sure. Maybe someone local, maybe the Emperor, maybe someone above him. Alwyn barks a laugh. This is ludicrous. There is no one above the Emperor. I throw him a skeptical look. There's always someone higher up the food chain. He looks like he's about to ask, what's a food chain? Lyra quietly asks, are they coming now? And suddenly it hits me that Lyra knows. Alwyn here is the only one who's clueless about his daughter. I turn to the mother. I don't know, and that's the truth, but I believe it's only a matter of time. I found Tamara's name on a list that was being kept in a stronghold. A list? Arwen interrupts. What list? I shoot him a frown. A list of other girls who are as special as your daughter. He laughs openly now. There is nothing special about my daughter. That comment earns him a scornful look from Tamara. Lyra, to her credit, looks ready to punch her husband in the throat. But instead, she says, if I give her to you, will you be able to keep her safe? I nod. I will. Tamara looks unsure. How can you be certain? Hold! Arwen cries out. Have you both lost your senses? Tamara is not going anywhere. Certainly not with this. He waves a hand in my general direction. So-called knight? A woman claiming to be a knight is foolishness enough, but all this talk about letting her take Tamara anywhere is pure insanity. We are done here, and you can show yourself. It is true, Tamara says, that no one will be taking me anywhere. Her voice is low and quiet, but it cuts through the entire room. She looks over at her father. Then she shifts her gaze to her mother. And no one is giving me to anyone. Then she looks at me. but I will be going all the same." The silence hangs there, broken only when Alwyn manages, "I will forbid it." Tamara gives him a little nod without even looking at him. "Yes, you will try, and I will run." She turns and stares him down. "Or I will fight you if I must, but either way, I will go." Alwyn stands up from the table staring at all of us. At me, the stranger. At Lyra, the wife that he had assumed would support him on this, but most of all, at his newly defiant daughter. "I do not understand any of this. How is it my own daughter speaks to me this way? I raised you better than this, did I not? Why would you abandon me, your mother, the farm? Why would you—" Lyra stands and puts a hand on Tamara's shoulder. "Because she is touched by magic." Now I watch as this man's face distorts, changes from anger to disappointment to fear and disgust. He takes a step back from the table. "No." Tamara's eyes drop. Yes. I can tell she feels the same shame and fear that her father is directing toward her. Then she looks at me. "That is why my name was on the list you found, correct? They are the names of girls who can use magic." I give a tiny nod. "Ones that they suspect, yes. Ones they'll come looking for." Her father shakes his head. "This is a lie. It is impossible. My daughter cannot. I would have known." Now Tamara shoots to her feet, meeting her father's glare. "You would have known? How? You know nothing, father. You notice nothing. You pay attention to nothing except your stupid farm. I could have grown a second head and you would have not have noticed. Mother has known for a year and—" Her father gapes at her. "A year?" He shifts his gaze to his wife. "And you knew?" Lyra folds her arms, standing firm. "Raka Truskin, the young man who fell from our hayloft?" Tamara looks away like she's suddenly interested in studying the wall. Lyra narrows her eyes. "He did not fall. Tam pushed him off when he tried to take that which she would not willingly give." Alwyn shakes his head. "Pushed him? How? He is twice her size," and his eyes widen as he suddenly gets what they're saying. "What I notice is that Lyra just told this absolute tool that somebody tried to sexually assault his daughter, and he's more concerned with how she reacted." Tamara's cheeks are red, and she can't meet her parents' eyes. I did not mean to. And it was one time, and I have done nothing since. I told Mother, but I can control it. I can." Alwyn simply shakes his head slowly, eyes wide. "Which?" Now her face comes up, and we can all see the tears in her eyes. "I am still your daughter." "No, I have no daughter." Again, Alwyn shakes his head, and this time he just walks away, out of the door, and into the farmyard. What an asshole. I stand up intending to say something to him, but Lyra touches my arm gently and gives me a look. "We do not have time for him," she says quietly. "Not if you believe someone is coming after her." I nod softly. I do. Tamara looks my way. "Do you suppose Raka told someone about what I did to him?" I give a little shrug. "Well, someone got your name from somewhere. And it seems like you two ladies have done a pretty good job keeping it secret, if not even your father knew. But I think the fact that your name's on this list, but you're still here talking to me, means that whoever it was didn't rat you out to the local authorities, or whoever it is that gets called around here when people want to point fingers and cry witch. Someone suspects, but they don't know." Tamara exhales, swallows, and asks, "So what do we do now? And what about Mother and the farm?" I notice, but don't point out, the fact that she mentions her mom, but not her dad. "Your father and I will be fine," Lyra says. "It is you I am worried about. I will feel better knowing you are safe." Tamara nods and then asks me, "Where will we go?" "No," her mother says quickly. "Don't tell me. I cannot know." Tamara's eyes go wide. "Why? I do not understand." I gently take hold of the young girl's hand and squeeze, because that way, if someone does come looking for you, she can't tell them where you went, no matter how many times they ask her. Or even if they torture her, I think. I keep that part to myself, obviously. "Keep her safe," Lyra pleads. "And if it is safe to do so, if it is possible, please one day however far in the future that it may be, bring her back to me. Please. Tamara's expression changes as the realization of what her mother is saying hits her. She might never return here. She might never see her mother again. Tamara's mouth becomes a thin line, and she manages a nod. I'll do my best, I say, I promise. I think for a second and then draw some coins from the inside pocket of my cloak. Listen, I need you to do me a favor. We need a pair of horses for me and Tamara. Lyra looks at me in surprise. You have no horse? You walked all the way out here? She knows better than to ask where I had walked out from. I hitched a ride, I say. I count out some coins, take Lyra's hand, and press the coins into her palm. I assume you know all the local sellers in the area. You'll get a much better price than I would as a stranger. She stares at the coins, but this is 20 gold sovereigns. I could get you 2 horses and a good cart for less than 1/2 sovereign. I want you to buy 2 decent horses. Skip the cart, but a pair of good saddles would be nice. I already have bedrolls and supplies. They're tucked away in my cache hidden out in the woods down by the river. Horses and saddles, and then you keep the rest. Lyra opens her mouth to protest. No, you keep it, okay? Ma'am, listen. It's pretty obvious you need it. For the farm, or for yourself maybe. Maybe you hire someone to take Tamara's place and help with the farm. Then I catch a look in Lyra's eyes. Or maybe you just hang on to it yourself. And maybe you don't even bother mentioning the money to your husband. Maybe it's your ticket out of here. Tamara takes her mother's hand. Do it, mother. We both know you are unhappy here. And I promise you, no matter what, no matter when, no matter where, I will find you, and we will be together once more. Her mother only looks away and nods slowly. Perhaps. How long will it take you to get the horses? I ask. Lyra thinks for a moment. I can have them by tomorrow evening? I nod. That works. Tamara, that gives you a chance to get together anything that you want to bring. But pack light. Tamara nods. There is very little I wish to bring.